Welcome, Pewter Report readers, listeners, and viewers to another edition of the Pewter Report podcast, Energized by Celsius. I am John Ledyard from pewterreport.com. With me on this Thursday is J.C. Allen, also of pewterreport.com. And J.C., we're doing a little bit something different today with the show. We're talking Bucs, as we always are, and we're answering people's questions, as we always do on our most Thursdays, I should say. But we're also going to look at the other top teams in the NFC, and we're gonna steal today. We're gonna do things that are wrong. We are gonna pilfer other teams' rosters for the best player, or not even necessarily the best player, the player we most want to take from that roster and put on the Bucs roster. We're gonna talk about that today. So I'm excited about it. How you doing, man? I heard you on Monday's show and not everything went that great.
Yeah. I shut the door, locked the door. No interruptions this Thursday.
No animal urination on the show.
No. I was like, what just happened here? But I'm doing great, man. We're getting closer and closer to another game. It looks like from all reports, the secondary should be pretty healthy coming back. So that's exciting to see. Finally, the first time of the year, all the starters on the field. Still up in the air with Mike Edwards. He's been an important part, even though he's not a starter. We'll see what his outcome is. But this presented a challenge today. I'm not gonna lie. Looking at these teams that were available and looking at potential fits and players, and obviously this team is so loaded from the get-go. So how do you incorporate players into this team and really impact players as well? So it was tough.
Very tough. Very tough. Let's roll through the injury report first, and then we'll get to this kind of exercise that we have. We're also going to answer questions as we go to people in the chat. If you're in the chat and you're jumping in here watching the show, obviously try and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. I know most of you probably have, but if you haven't, hit that subscribe button, hit the like too, hit get that thumbs up on the show. That helps improve our YouTube SEO and helps us get to a wider range of people on the show. So we always appreciate when you hit that thing for us. We are going to answer questions that we get, but we're also talking through this objective here too. So try to, if you can, drop a super chat. We'll definitely see those pop up. We get notified on those. So we'll notice those questions and we'll prioritize those questions for sure. We'll try to get to other ones if we can. A couple just off the top I want to touch on. Hezo says, great job on the all 22 per usual, John. Appreciate that, Hezo. Yeah, if you're interested, I did an all 22. It's an 18-minute video. It's in right over on the YouTube. So you can probably scroll right over and look at it after the show's done. And it's just 7 plays from the Bucs run scheme that were really successful and why they were successful in some ways. Looked at some players and their performance against the Colts. And so that's a good opportunity if people are looking for more all 22 content. I know I've got a ton of questions about it. Check that out. Share it, promote it as much as you can. Like it. Obviously, that helps encourage the powers that be to say, hey, John, do more of those videos and let's see what happens. So no, I appreciate y'all on that as well. And Caleb, I appreciate you adding your comment here that you enjoyed it as well.
It was
hopefully,
great.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all liked it.
John.
Appreciate it. Thank you, JC. I was glad you liked it as well. Michael says, who do we root for tonight? The Saints. I know it hurts, but you root for the Saints, man. Yeah. More you can get another contender up out of there, the better
it's
off
an uphill
it is.
battle, but
yeah, it's a very uphill battle. Saints are missing. I think they have 2 regular offensive starters, 2 or 3 maybe. It's crazy.
Bookend tackle, Kamara, quarterback.
And they already weren't that great of an offense. So
yeah,
when you're missing Kamara, Ramczyk, and Armstead, and obviously Michael Thomas, that hurts a lot. So it's gonna be very interesting to see their offseason. Because I think that there's a lot there that could change and happen. They still got cap situations, but
we have breaking news here, John.
Oh, do we?
The NFL is suspending Bucs safety Mike Edwards and free agent John Franklin III because they misrepresented their vaccination status in violation of protocols. Also, Antonio Brown was suspended for the next 3 games for violating the NFLPA COVID protocols. So it looks like Stroud had some.
I'm trying to see this story right now as it happens.
Yep.
I wonder how that works for AB if he's out already anyway because of the injury.
He's out 1 more week, I guess.
I'm assuming he might have been back 3 weeks anyway.
Maybe this is one of the reasons why they didn't put him on IR, because I don't know if his suspension would have kicked in until he was activated off of IR.
That will be interesting to see. Yeah,
I believe that's how it goes.
Yeah, that will be interesting to see. Also, does it misrepresented his vaccination status. I wonder what that means. That, like, I'm trying to
sure
read and do the show here, but Brown and
all
violated
three
protocols.
players have accepted the discipline and waived their right of appeal per Schefter. Suspensions are effective immediately.
I'm wondering what that means. Misrepresented his vaccination status, and that was the same thing with Edwards too. But they are vaccinated.
I don't know.
So I wonder if it was because they actually sought this out and the NFL could prove it in this situation. They sought out maybe being what's it called? Getting like a fake vaccination card at some point, which other players have done too, I'm sure, in the NFL leading up to the season. But I wonder if in these guys' situations, because AB had this money situation with this guy, if it ended up getting he and Edwards in trouble, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, probably not an uncommon thing, but then you get that added layer to it where there's a guy with a bone to pick with you, and then all of a sudden it comes to the surface, and you end up getting suspended because of it.
So yeah, pretty much that's exactly what it's saying right here. Schefter's saying NFLPA represented the 3 players during a joint NFL-NFLPA review into recent allegations that players misrepresented their vaccination status under the NFL-NFLPA COVID-19 protocols. Review supported those allegations and found out that the 3 players violated the protocols. So that's what it's looking like. Is that allegation led to a discovery by the NFL and NFLPA, and they were found out that those allegations were correct, that they were not properly vaccinated. And it looks like it's pretty much what was stated, that they must have been using fake vaccination cards.
But they are vaccinated now? Like,
they might,
because I think at some point, I bet, here's what happened. They presented these fake cards, then actually got vaccinated. That's what it seems like, right? Because there's nothing saying that they aren't vaccinated right now.
Well, the thing is, those text messages were back in June before teams even reported to, training camp. So that's a question that were these turned in June, July before training camp, and then they end up getting vaccinated. I mean,
that's what I wonder, right?
There's a lot more to the story. I think.
So here's another part of it. Then the team.
They're going to get fined. They should be getting fined too.
Yeah, I was going to say there's been no announcement on the team, so I wonder,
because there's 3 players from the team was full
too.
Because there's 3 players from the same team, I would expect a heavy fine and potentially draft compensation as well.
Does it say that there in the report? Or
no? That's what I'm just based on what teams have been fined for one player, misrepresenting or not having, and what they've been fined. And here you have 3 players. And obviously, we know the Buccaneers put out a statement backing these players up. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the fine's going to be they're going to get fined. It's just, do they lose draft compensation? That's going to be something to watch. I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, maybe the NFL needs to take longer to review that. I would imagine we'll get a follow-up tweet if that were beyond the table. But they could have a large situation on their hands if the league decides to go that way, because let's just be honest. No, and I think all 3 of these guys are vaccinated now, at least. I don't know what happened when they presented their card, but let's just assume that they are vaccinated now. They're not going to be the only dudes around the league that this happened with. Their only reason they're getting found out is because of the chef situation with AB owing the guy money, and that whole thing coming to light. That guy had a bone to pick, so he went out and exposed his boy or his old boy, whatever. But that's the only reason this is getting found out here, because the other teams are going to, that's what I'm saying. Like, if that happens, like they try and go after the team and the Bucs, it's going to become an issue, because other teams are going to this get exposed too.
Other teams have been fined for COVID violations,
but nobody for a fake vaccination card.
No, and no one's lost draft compensation, but they've been warned if it happens again, they'll lose draft compensation. Where this is a fake vaccination card, potentially, again, allegations, we're not sure what's coming to light. We'll find out. I'm sure soon we'll get a whole report about really what's going on. The league has, obviously, when you're finding teams, when you're finding players, when these things are repetitive issues, and they're sending memos too. You got to believe after every time a team's getting fined, players getting fined, they're sending memos. Hey, make sure, whatever. In a case like this where there could be fake, misrepresentations about vaccination statuses, and then the team go ahead and backs those players up based based on that. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. No team has lost draft picks, but it could be a potential possibility. It's obviously bad news for the Bucs. For Brown, For Brown, he was missing the next 2 games anyway. So really, in essence, he's missing one more game. That's just affecting him in his pocket. For Edwards, he hasn't practiced this week so far.
There's a pretty good chance Brown wasn't going to play the next 3 games anyway. So.
And Edwards was probably not going to play this week. So
yeah, he was definitely out of. Yeah, so we'll have see, and that may be why. I mean, he has that knee bruise, but
which is why they probably both accepted it without being able to appeal it, get it over with, get it done. He's missing this game. It's just 2 more games after that. And what a great week to be getting Carlton Davis back then.
Yeah, from a Bucs perspective, the ripple effect here is probably negligible because Bruce Arians straight up said it when Carlton Davis is back, Sean Murphy-Bunting's taking back the nickel role.
Yeah.
And Mike Edwards was not going to play very much anyway in this game. He'd been playing nickel the last 3 weeks, unless somebody got hurt, obviously. And then AB obviously was probably out for most of this time. So timing wise for the Bucs, I don't know that it really hurts much of any. It hurts depth a little bit, but like I said, they're not really doesn't change the outlook much in the next couple games. It kind of was going to be what it was going to be, regardless of whether those guys were present, unless somebody gets hurt, obviously, unless one of the safeties gets hurt.
John Franklin, last chance you. He's done now for sure.
I didn't even know he was still around. Is he still around?
No, he's a free
agent, right? I was
he's a free agent, but I mean, his last chance is real last chance now.
Goodness. That guy's last chance sailed, man. That was literally the last chance. This kind of just harkens back more to, and I'm curious, we'll get to talk to Bruce Arians tomorrow and we'll just learn more details. I don't want to jump to any conclusions here.
We'll get him will we get him tomorrow? Yeah, we will get him.
We'll get him tomorrow, yeah. But yeah, this is a situation with Antonio Brown where you wonder how the team feels. Like that's the other part of this, right? He was on that. I know it's been a while, but it's still something. And it's, it seems like he was dishonest with the team. The team has said they've been pretty straight up and they've said, we did our due diligence. And like, if this was a lie to us, it obviously, fooled the team and the NFL. If that's the situation and the team feels strongly about that, then I wonder what the ripple effect there could be for the Bucs. That's a question mark that I have.
I mean, this is a guy who has stuck his neck out time and time again for AB, and now
Yeah, it's Alex Nelson says just the 2 players. The Shefty tweet said 3. The third player is John Franklin, who was on the Bucs and is no longer on the Bucs. He got cut.
Didn't play at all. Injured throughout training camp.
Right. So yeah, long lost Glazer. Good point here. We need Ross Cockrell to regain that training camp safety form. Yeah, good point. Definitely a good point. I don't know. That situation with them. I'm sure that the league dug, and it sounds like Mike Edwards was the guy on the team that AB was kind of in that situation with. If you're Mike Edwards, who's been, I think, his whole college career, he was captain of Kentucky for a long time. Got to make better decisions than that to align yourselves with anybody else there. You don't want to be in the same camp as AB making decisions in life. That's just a general rule of thumb. No matter what you think about him, I think that we could all agree pretty much on that one.
A lot of people are up in arms too about the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. How come he didn't get suspended with his, with his whole situation? I think this is a little bit different. If you turned in fake vaccination cards rather than just saying, "Hey, I've been,"
right. Like act like these 2 are the only in the league to do that. That doesn't make it right. I'm just saying, like, if the NFL wants, like, or if somebody else has a bone to pick with somebody else, and more things, I guess, would come to light.
Yeah,
it's clear. Like, right, like, come on, the NFL is not. If they've screwed up with these guys and you're vaccinated, okay, you think they're the only players in the league that brought forth fake vaccinations?
Yeah. That's the hope.
Yeah,
right. They're gonna do a thorough investigation throughout the league. They're not going to just stop.
The only reason this happened is because that guy came forward looking for his money, and maybe he should have paid him. Like AB deserves this. Like this is him screwing up back to back for sure, no question. But that's the only reason this came to light. Like it's not coming to light if he settles his debts. Let's put it that way.
I'm really interested to see to learn if those guys are truly vaccinated now, or if this was prior to the season.
That's the other part of this.
Because if they turned in fake vaccination cards at the start of training camp, then got vaccinated anyways, I think the penalty might be a little harsh for them. If they're vaccinated now, but try to circumvent the system. I get it. 1 game, the 3 games for both of them without pay.
Right.
That appears to me that they're both still not vaccinated because they're putting a lot of people at risk in the building.
Well, I don't think that has anything to do with why they're suspended. I don't think that's related. I think it's just because of what they did in the past. We'll see. I guess we'll try to. That's something we'll have to find out whether those guys are vaccinated now at this point or not. But I don't think. I think that would be unrelated to the suspension. I think the suspension would be what it is regardless. And so I think one of the bigger questions here is this like illegal? Like, do they have legal ramifications for this? Like, because using a fake vaccine card, I believe I'm pretty sure it's illegal. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how that situation plays itself out too with these guys. I just wonder what the extent of it was. Like, did the NFL realize, oh, this is out there? We know that they tried, so we're hitting them with it, or do they actually like go through with it and like we're fake vaccinated this whole time? Like that's to me like
from the Bucs here. Buccaneer statement says, we appreciate the league's timely handling of this matter and recognize the importance of the health and safety protocols that have been established. We will continue to implement all league COVID-19 protocols. So John, I want to say that they weren't vaccinated. I want to say that they turned in those cards and they weren't vaccinated. That's what I think. The weight of the suspension, 3 games, no pay.
Bucs were not fined, and they provided assistance to the league in its investigation.
Yeah, and so, this goes back to BA saying the AB thing is a non-story, and then editing that part out of the statement.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see. I'm curious to hear what Aaron says tomorrow. Like, because he says team did their due diligence. It sounds like the NFL agrees with them. So, and I'm not saying it should be the team's responsibility. If the players are turning this into the league, it should be the league's responsibility to review these and make sure that it's legit. Yeah. Clearly, they did not do it, so the league should probably find themselves too. Not excuse what anybody else did, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's other situations out there that are like this, and I just think the league is fronting with all this. Not the consequences here, but just the whole. Oh yeah, everybody's definitely, like there's other situations where players are doing stuff too. I'm sure it's just a matter of whether that stuff's going to come to light or not. But an AB situation, yeah, it's the integrity thing. Like, well, how much is the team going to, is there still zero tolerance for him, even though it's been a while since anything happened and nothing's happened since he's been a Buck? Like, is there still no tolerance for him? Because this is obviously very different than the other situations in the past that he's been involved in. But does this end up falling under, that umbrella? I don't know. Like, we're gonna have to see. That's gonna be an interesting thing to kind of unpack a little bit and see what how the team responds in that situation, and see what Bruce Arians says tomorrow too. Because I don't know that it would be guaranteed him. I don't know. I just really don't know. We're just gonna have to see.
Ian Rappaport is reporting that he misrepresented himself as a vaccinated player, which leads me to believe they are not vaccinated.
He was not, at least at the time of that representation, whenever that occurred. Whether he's still not or has not been since the season started, we don't know, and hopefully we find out at some point. But like I said, actual on-field consequences for the Bucs. I don't think that there's really much here. We've seen how much Mike Edwards plays when the Bucs secondary is fully healthy. Did not sound like for Bruce Arians that was going to change.
It's interesting from Mike Edwards. AB. We can all point to his zany, pass that he's had before coming to the Bucs, but Mike Edwards is an interesting case to me.
Why? Yeah, he's never had any issue, right? I don't think in Tampa. I don't think Tampa Bay or college. He's never had anything. So for him, it might be like one strike. But for AB, it's not. So a different situation in terms of how the team will probably view it. So I don't know. And plus, they could see AB as somebody who pulled Edwards into it. I don't know if that's the case at all. I'm just saying the team could see that. I want to unfairly accuse him. So crazy stuff. Both Mike Edwards and Antonio Brown suspended for 3 games. And so
breaking news like this always happens when we're on the pod.
Right on the pod, which I feel like is probably good timing. I don't know, for the pod at least. We'd had to do an emergency pod, so now we don't have to do an emergency one now. Yeah. Yeah, don't think it has much on-field effect for the Bucs at all. So not really a lot to unpack there. The biggest on-field effect would be if the team decides to part ways with AB or something like that over this, and we'll just have to wait and see. But I think that acting like it wouldn't be on the table is probably a little short-sighted. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll talk to Bruce
Because
Arians tomorrow.
their motto, one team, one cause. If you're not
Yeah,
for the cause, then I wouldn't be.
yeah.
You
AB
say
didn't really
Mike
fit.
Edwards
AB
too. I
didn't.
mean,
Yeah.
maybe they look at Edwards in a second and say, hey, he's been great for us, but
I don't think so. AB's situation is so much different. He came in and it was like, this is it, man. Like, if you do anything, you're gone. And that was last year, but so it's been a while maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I think that situation is going to bear watching a little bit, at least until we get to talk to Bruce Arians tomorrow.
one thing, we can go back a couple pods to who's staying and who's going. I'm changing my mind that AB is staying because I don't think anyone's going to sign him if he does stay.
Yeah, I was going to say this might be his only spot that wants to deal with him. That is a total different thing too that we have to take into account is what happens in the offseason with him now, if this plays any role in that. Also, we got to figure out tomorrow if he's vaccinated now or if he's still not really vaccinated. I'm not really sure. So we'll just have to wait and see. But okay, let's talk about should we get back to our show topic? Are we able to move on? Let's talk about. Yeah, that's right. Crazy day. Let's talk about something that can make it a little bit better. Is our friends over at Celsius. Celsius powers active lives every day with essential functional energy. Tropical Vibe is the flavor that I'm rocking today. But you can see on the screen, there are tons of different flavors in Celsius energy drink. No sugar in Celsius. You can get a lot of the good stuff that you want from an energy drink without the sugar. And it's a great way to enjoy a tasty beverage and get yourself a little boost for the day without the crash as well. Celsius, you can find them online, Celsius.com. You can use the Amazon subscribe and save option, or you can click the banner ads over at Pewter Report and you can figure out where Celsius are near you at stores or order them online as well. So lots of great options for Celsius, which is just hitting the spot for me. I mean, even lately, I've just been thriving with Celsius, dude. I've been loving it. So it's going to sustain us to the show topic today, too. And again, we will take your questions, so send them over as we get them.
Before we move on, John, I got just a quick question for you. Obviously, Saints at home, how bad they are right now, still a tough matchup, a divisional opponent. Then if Bills, does not having AB or Mike Edwards out there for you change your trajectory of this Bucs season at all? Or do you think that they will still be able to go in there and potentially run the table?
No, it doesn't change because AB wasn't playing anyway the next two games and probably very possibly the next three. So yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it changes that part of it for me, but I do think what could happen after that. Yeah. If AB gets released or doesn't return this season or something, whatever.
Does this become a distraction for them this weekend where they could not?
No. Nobody cares. That distraction things are the most ridiculous media line. Like you're out here about to make a play on the ball, and all of a sudden it flashes through your mind that Antonio Brown and Mike Edwards violated the league's COVID policies. Like, and you just can't come up with the pick. Like, you know what I mean? It's just silly stuff. Like media just go to that narrative, I think, so often. But no, I'm glad you brought it up because it probably is worth addressing. Because if they lose, if they got the distraction from this, it's too much.
It's going to be everywhere. ESPN.
Maybe they should cut AB, but the distraction thing is laughable, I think. But no, it's I think that beyond the game maybe is where you're looking at it. But like I said, I just don't think I wouldn't disagree with maybe. It. What's that?
Team chemistry, maybe.
I just think postseason they need a guy like AB, like with the way this offense is designed. Maybe Leftwich surprises me, or maybe the defense goes nuts like it did last postseason and it doesn't end up mattering. But in a normal world where things happen with the coaching staff as you'd expect them to happen, I think AB is a really important player for the Bucs offense in terms of getting where they need to go, especially with how much Tyler Johnson has just done nothing. I mean, that's just nothing. Like,
just proved he's a mediocre receiver.
Yeah, I've expected a little more. I knew there were limitations.
He looked so good in training camp. He was catching everything.
Had some moments for sure, but big difference, I guess. So suddenly Scotty Miller becomes a potentially very important player once again in crunch time. So we'll see how that plays out, obviously. Okay, what we're doing today is we are taking a player from each of the other five. We went five. We were a little liberal with it, and we included the 49ers in here. The other five key NFC contenders / seems like this is going to happen, playoff teams. And we can only take one player. So JC can take one player. I can take one player. We're each going to take one. We can take the same player. That's fine. When we take that player, it doesn't remove them from the team we're taking them from. Just it clones them basically. So we can't just take Aaron Rodgers and Matt Stafford and Kyler Murray and just be like, all right, now none of you have your quarterbacks. Let's go. Like, can't do that. So they still solve their player, but it's a player that you want to take off or you want to take from that roster and you want to clone them and put them on the Bucs roster because whatever the role they fill or something like that will be significant enough for that to happen. So let's start with the Green Bay Packers, since they are the top seed, I believe, right now in the NFC, I think. So no, the Cardinals are actually. Let's start with the Cardinals. Yeah. Cardinals. What do you got?
You want to go first?
Who are you taking? No, go for it.
You want me to go first? Of course.
Yeah, I want you to go.
All right. So I came down to pretty much two players. And one of the, I looked at special teams because I think they could use a lot of special teams help on this roster. But when I started making my list of these 5 teams, I chose impact. And I want guys who's going to be able to come in here and make an impact and be an upgrade over what they already have in some aspects. So it came down for me to DeAndre Hopkins and Chandler Jones. And I went with Chandler Jones. JPP has been a former shell of himself. I think Chandler Jones' ability to get after the quarterback. He's got 8 sacks so far this season, 3 forced fumbles. He's been there in the postseason. He knows what postseason football is all about. And I just think another guy JTS can learn from. Because are we removing a player or just added to the player?
No, just adding a player.
Yeah, give me Chandler Jones.
You want Chandler Jones?
Right. Yeah, I want Chandler Jones here.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I mean, give you another edge rusher. Obviously, pass rush talent helps, and he's very good at that. And he doesn't hurt you in the run game either. And we're just really adding him for this window for these playoffs too. I should add that. So this isn't a guy who's going to be.
I would have picked Kyler Murray if that was the case.
Yeah. You're not taking about a guy.
Give you the future.
Right, we're talking about this year, this playoffs. Like who's going to help you? Cali Bucks wants to know why we are playing this game. It's fun is a big reason. We like to have fun, especially on Thursday's podcast. We like to have fun. Also, it's a good chance to kind of indirectly talk about some quote unquote weaknesses or areas we think could be concerns on the Bucs roster. Without just saying, hey, this player sucks. Like instead we're saying, oh, this guy's really good. And it would be nice to have him in this spot instead. So that's probably the 2 main reasons there, Callie, but mostly because we just like to have fun. It's a fun idea. And I think a lot of people have opinions and appreciate it. Lawrence says AB and Mike Edwards suspended for 3 games. Yes. Go back to the beginning of this pod. If you're looking for that, about 5 minutes in, we start discussing that as the news broke. So you can check that out if you're just jumping in here. Just Me Pooh Shimmy says, can someone explain to me why Scotty is being so underused? He was literally leading the team in receiving yards the first 8 games last year. Leading. I don't buy this one trick pony excuse. Part of it was because of the injuries. Godwin missed 4 of the first 8 games, I believe. So that was a big part. And AB wasn't there. So he just kind of had to. And obviously he and Brady did have good connection. But I mean, he just came back too. So we've won.
He only got 1 game. Yeah. So
1 game.
And I mean, he set up a huge defensive pass interference and had
4 snaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he needs to be, he needs to play more.
You got to work him back. And turf toe's a heck of an injury too.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad they didn't rush him back. And you don't want to again, what are we playing here for? The playoffs, right?
Yeah.
You don't want him to re-injure that turf toe because he does bring that dimension to your team.
Yeah, and I think he'll play more as he gets back into it. But he needs 20 snaps. He needs 15, 20 snaps for sure. I mean, obviously one of the reasons is that the Bucs ran the ball a lot against Indy. They were having so much success, especially late in the game. They were running the ball a good bit. So obviously he's going to not be out there as often in those situations. So Tyler Johnson's going to play more than him, but yeah, I definitely think he needs to play more for sure. Okay, for me, this is what I would do. I would take this player from the Cardinals if I were the Bucs. I would take Budda Baker from the Cardinals. One of the best players around the line of scrimmage that I've ever seen. I would play 3 safety packages with he and Antoine Winfield and Jordan Whitehead, and Mike Edwards just got suspended. I didn't know that when we started the pod, but it would be Mike Edwards would be off the field in these situations. He probably wouldn't be playing much. And I like Mike Edwards a lot, but Budda Baker to me is just that kind of game changer player. You can play him at single eye free safety. You can blitz him. You can play him in the box. It's a perfect fit with Todd Bowles. So I love the fact that he gives them versatility. He can play in the slot as well, which they really need. They don't have a true slot defender. He's to me is just a huge difference maker, and I would love to have him on the field for Tampa Bay if they could get him. I think he'd be the player to take from Arizona. This was kind of hard with Arizona, by the way.
Yeah.
Even though they're the one seed, they
like 3-4 people.
yeah, like Kyler, DeAndre Hopkins, the rest of the offense. I mean, it's all right. Like Chandler Jones. I mean, Buddha. I don't know. There just wasn't that many options for them. It's funny because they're way better than San Francisco, but San Francisco was way harder to choose.
San Francisco's got like 2 players, maybe 3.
San Francisco. Well, I had a hard time choosing with them. Let's do them next. I had a hard time choosing with them because they were like, let me think. There were 4 players I really wanted.
I had 3
to take. You had 3. All right, who were your 3, and who did you choose?
Okay, so I had Kittle, Bosa, and Deebo Samuel, all for different reasons. Bosa, another pass rusher. It came down really to who I liked on Arizona versus who I liked on the 49ers. Deebo is good, but I feel like I could get a different player from a different team that'd be better than Deebo. So I went with Kittle. I mean, throw me Gronk and Kittle out there in 12 personnel, and you know who's stopping that tandem? Who's stopping those twin towers? You saw how effective Tom Brady was with Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski early in his career. You give him Kittle and Gronk lined up with Evans and Godwin. You know, you're going 5 wide. You got Kittle, Gronk, Evans, Godwin, and another player out there.
Yeah,
forgot about it. Matchup.
So you're going Kittle.
Yeah, I went with Kittle. Give me another tight end.
Interesting. I don't think that's a bad choice at all, even though I didn't pick Kittle because personally, Kittle is one of my,
about him.
Kittle's one of my favorite players in the NFL, like to watch, period. I mean, I just enjoy every second of watching him play football. He's one of the few players I would put on that list where I'm just like, anytime he plays, I'd watch. Even with Jimmy Garoppolo, I'd watch. But I just was like, if he was clearly the best choice on the team, best player on the team, or best fit with the Bucs, I would have probably taken him still. But yeah, I do think it's a good choice, but I just don't like how often would they use him. You know, you have so many other threats, but then at the same time, I define myself here because I picked Deebo Samuel, and this was hard. This was between he and Nick Bosa for me, and I had Nick Bosa for a while because I want to add that game-changing pass rusher off the edge. I think in a creative way a little bit later on. But Deebo Samuel in this offense would be fascinating, especially with the guys around him, because he could play in the slot. But I would honestly play Deebo Samuel at running back. Like I would just not use Ronald Jones, and I would play Leonard Fournette, Giovanni Bernard maybe a little bit, and play Deebo Samuel at running back. Like he would be 1,000-yard rusher if he played running back. I mean, he has how many rushing? He get the ball in straight handoffs too. Like probably maybe the best player in the league with the ball in his hands. I mean, I don't think that's hyperbole at all. Like his broken tackle rate is unreal. He's got home run ability, threat ability. Him in the open field on checkdowns with the ball in his hands is unfair. I would use him at running back. I truly would. And I just don't know who would stop that. I would play him a wideout too, but yeah, Vortex, we're completely on the same page. I think if you could teach him pass pro, man, which I mean, he's obviously physical enough for it. Dang, he'd be unbelievable. Unbelievable asset to have on the team. All right, so I'm going Deebo. You're going Kittle. Neither of us went with Nick Bosa, which is surprising because that would be a great get for the Bucs. And I also considered Fred Warner because he's so much better than Devin White and because he's so good in coverage, which is a real asset when you're the Bucs. I mean, but then at the same time with this scheme, it's like how many chances these guys have to make plays on the ball. So I don't know. So I didn't think that position was valuable enough, but that's how I saw it anyway. Okay, let's get to the.
You go first this time.
Bunch of people want Deebo at running back. I'm not surprised. That's a fan dream right there. Like that's the pure football fan of me. Just want to see like another talented dude on the field for an absurd offense. Okay, what you want to do? Let's finish off the NFC West. Let's go with the Rams here. I try not to overthink this one. I think Aaron Donald has a legitimate claim to being the best defensive player ever. And I want that on my team. So I picked him. He and Vita Vea next to each other would be unreal. Plus Sue and Golston then would be even more fresh in the rotation. You actually get a legitimate interior pass rusher, which even though the Bucs won the Super Bowl last year, and even though Vea is a beast, he has 0 pass rush moves. And at some point it does just get tiring of him trying to bull rush everybody in the stadium. Like that's just not gonna, you need more than that. And he's just not developed more than that. And so, yeah, Aaron Donald playing 80% of the snaps, 85% of the snaps on the field at all times as a penetrator next to Vea eating up blocks. Look, I know Jalen Ramsey's a beast, but come on. It'd
be fun to watch, but no hesitation with Jalen Ramsey.
Oh my
This
gosh.
cornerback group has been atrocious at times this year. And yes, injuries have played a big
in
part
this
of it.
exercise, I should add, everybody on the Bucs is fully healthy. So in this
still.
exercise, AB is healthy and not suspended. Carlton Davis is fully healthy. Like that's how we're thinking about it. Yeah.
Carlton Davis go to the left side. Ramsey, you're going on the right side. We got Jalen Ramsey, Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean. Sorry, you're not playing, even though you've been spectacular. Unless you can learn how to play inside. Sean Murphy, yeah, give me Jalen Ramsey all day long. I need a lockdown guy. I'm gonna go up against some really good wide receivers. I want Jalen Ramsey on the team. Donald has been great, but Aaron Donald, he can play inside next to Vita Vea. You can do a little bit of outside work. You can obviously get to the quarterback and rushing the passer, but we have a number one, they have the number one defense against the run right now. So you're not using it for run. And I already got Chandler Jones. So, I've got some extra pass rush on this team. So give me the guy who can lock down a cornerback, take away a side of the field, give those guys a little bit more time to get home. Give me Jalen Ramsey. I want Ramsey.
By the way, good choice. I mean, Ramsey's obviously a great player. Bucs defense would be vastly improved by having him. And the only thing that would suck would be watching Todd Bowles spot drop him all game rather than use him creatively. But I digress. Statement from Antonio Brown's lawyer, Sean Burstein, I think is his name. Mr. Brown is vaccinated and continues to support the vaccine for any person for whom it is appropriate. The NFL made its determination, and instead of going through the drawn-out and distracting process of challenging the outcome, what a saint. Mr. Brown wrapped this up promptly, and he will make the most of this time, I should say, by treating his ankle injury. Mr. Brown will be motivated, well-rested, and in the best shape of his life when he returns in week 16. Wow, we even got a best shape of his life reference in there. That's impressive. I mean, obviously, most of that is obviously BS, but the fact that he said he is vaccinated now, like that, it would be pretty wild to double down after this and be like, so it does seem like maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe he actually doubled down and the dude is still not vaccinated. That would be bizarre at this point, but it seems like maybe this was something that happened and then he did get vaccinated. And I don't know whether that was in time for week 3 when he had COVID, but the fact that he cleared out the symptoms, didn't have any real symptoms and got off the protocol as quickly as he did might be an indicator that he was at that point in time. We don't know. And we'll find out tomorrow, hopefully from Bruce Arians, but it does sound like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Who knows, man? Like at this point, what happened at one point or another, but incredible. No, Brian says, oh wait, yeah, Bulls is dropping Aaron Donald in coverage. True. Good. Be good to see Aaron Donald covering one of these Aaron Jones out of the backfield. That'd be great. I'd love that. Okay, let's keep rolling with this. But before we keep rolling with this, I got to tell people, like, this is the place to be right now. If you're even for tonight's Cowboys Saints game, this is a great place to go. Underdog Fantasy. You can double your first deposit right now when you sign up with Underdog Fantasy. Bunch of games you can play, or you can bet over-unders on player stat lines. That's my favorite thing to do. Do the prop bets and bet over-under on their stat line. A bunch of stat lines for tonight's game. Going to be pretty exciting. Bet on those if you're watching the game. Use that promo code Pewter, Pewter. You double your first deposit when you put in some money here. And so Underdog Fantasy is going to match that up to $100. The cool thing is that with this pick, you can do these player stat line prop bets and you can like pick 5 and get 20 times. If you get them all in the pick 5 of the player stat lines, if you get them all right, you get 20 times the amount of money that you put in. So it can be very lucrative, very fast. It's pretty sweet, but you can also do like pick 2 or pick 3, pick 4. You can do any of those options and you can, win a multiplication of your money doing it that way. So very cool stuff from Underdog Fantasy. Definitely check it out. Use that promo code Pewter to get yourself paid. And then I would also be remiss, JC, if I didn't mention with the holiday season coming up, Living Golf Life and their amazing line that they've got. They've got polos, hats, koozies, glasses. Check it all out at livinggolflife.com. You can see the new products they've got rolling out at Living Golf Life on Instagram as well. But this is great. If you love golf or you know somebody who loves golf, great opportunity to get something as a gift or ask for something as a gift for with the holidays coming up. Living Golf Life, a couple of great guys starting a great organization, great company here with Living Golf Life. They got a dream and I'm excited to see it grow and be partners with them as they grow it. So definitely check out their stuff at livinggolflife.com. All right, JC, let's keep rolling here with this exercise. Let me get to the comments here. Let's see if we got a couple good comments here. People are still wondering about the Rodgers situation. Rodgers never misrepresented himself to the league. I believe that's the big difference, right? He did in that media presser, but the league knew he was unvaccinated the whole time.
Yeah.
And in that media presser, he definitely he was misleading at the very least. Whatever word games you want to play, it was misleading at the very least. But that wouldn't get a fine from the NFL. With the NFL, they've always known he was regarded as unvaccinated, and he's not tried to present himself as anything other than that. He's been straight up with the league, I believe. So that is the big difference, in my opinion, the way I understand it, trying to understand it as little as possible, trying to look into it as little as possible, and focus on my bread and butter, which is football. All right, let's get back to it. Here is the rest of the exercise. We've done the 49ers, the Rams, and the Cardinals. We've each taken a player from those teams and added them to the Bucs roster. Now, we have not taken the same player for any of these teams. I took Budda Baker from the Cardinals, Deebo Samuel for the 49ers, and Aaron Donald from the Rams. You took Chandler Jones from the Cardinals, George Kittle from the 49ers, and Jalen Ramsey from the Rams. Let's go to the Packers here. I don't think we're going to pick the same player for anybody. Who you got for the Packers?
So we can do the Cowboys first. But Packers, let's go. It was tough. I stayed on offense for the Packers. I don't know about you. I'm assuming based on your previous picks, you probably went to the defensive side of the ball.
I did go to the defensive side of the ball.
And I'm pretty sure I know who you're going to take
everything.
There. Yeah. I wanted to add more firepower to this offense. In fact, 2 of my 5 picks were offensive players. I thought about adding another outside weapon for Tom Brady. AB, sorry, you're kicked to the bench. But in reality, I went with Aaron Jones here. Leonard Fournette's been playing well, but give me a true stud running back with Tom Brady. Leonard Fournette will be your pass catching back, change of pace back. So I went with Aaron Jones here. Give me Aaron Jones with that lineup with Kittle, with AB, Fournette, Godwin, Evans, Gronk. Forget about it.
Yeah. So you said you're taking, who'd you say you were taking there?
Aaron Jones. I thought about Devontae Adams, but I went to Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I'm not taking a running back. I'm just not, principle wise. Well, I'm taking Deebo and I'll play him back there, but yeah, I don't need to add a running back to win. We're good with what we got. There's enough talent there to do what you got to do. I'm taking Jair Alexander on corner because it kind of goes back to what you were saying. Like you do need to get a corner from one of these teams. Like I agree with that. I can't do it from the team that is the best defensive player in the world because I got to take him and Aaron Donald. But I'll do it with the Packers. Jair Alexander is one of the best corners in the league. He's been hurt this year. I think he's coming back, or he maybe just came back. But he's been hurt, but he's been great his whole career, really. And I think he would be great fit. Now, he's not physically the type of player that they usually look for, but it doesn't really matter. When you scrap like Jair Alexander does, can play man, can play zone, plays a lot of zone, in fact. So he would be a great fit. Bulls would love him. He would be an ideal player in this scheme, in any scheme, really. But great player to have. So I would take Jair Alexander. So now all of a sudden you've got Aaron Donald, Jair Alexander, and Budda Baker added to the defense. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. All right, Cowboys. What are you thinking here with the Dallas?
I think we're taking the same guy.
Are we?
I think. Are you staying on the
defense? This was really hard for me between 2 players.
I'm staying on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I did too.
And I'm going with a rookie.
Yeah, Micah Parsons.
Parsons. Yeah.
And I'm playing him on the edge too. I'm playing him on the field at the same time as those other guys. But
I've got Chandler Jones. I got Micah Parsons. I got plenty of pass rush. Can never use too many pass rushers. The way that Todd Bowles is able to utilize his pass rushers. Yeah. Give me Micah Parsons.
JPP can have shoulder surgery.
Yep.
Parsons and Barrett can start. Get JTS out there on occasion. Yeah. I'm set. I'm going.
Yeah. Who's the guy you're looking at on offense?
Zach Martin.
Yeah.
Right guard, plug him right in for Alex Kappa. I mean, obviously it's a huge upgrade and you'd have one of the best offensive lines probably of all time because Martin's like a Hall of Fame guard. But I just thought about like what player is going to make more of a difference if he's on the Bucs. And ultimately like Kappa's good enough and Brady's so good with getting the ball out and the rest of the line's so good that I just felt like adding one more piece there wouldn't put it over the top as much as adding a guy that can win one-on-one as a pass rusher, make plays in coverage, run sideline to sideline like Parsons. So that was where I found the discrepancy, but Martin's unbelievable. He'd be a great ad too, obviously. But this got me kind of juiced. So I was like, all right, like this would be a 6 squad. Like if I played Madden still, I'd definitely try to get this squad together. So there it is. We agreed to a 1 team. That was it. That made it interesting. We had no idea who the other was going to say before going into it. And so that made it interesting for sure.
Who'd you look at for the Packers besides Jair Alexander? Was that it?
That was really it. I thought about like David Bakhtiari, if we were doing, he was fully healthy, but he hasn't played all year. But also Donovan Smith's playing so well, I don't even know if I want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
that's not
I didn't
worth it
even
to
want to
me.
touch the line.
I mean, I thought about Devontae Adams. That was the other one, just because, like, come on.
It was
Like,
a coin
I think he's
flip.
the best receiver in the league, so maybe I should have added him. I don't know, but maybe you just score so many points but it comes to a point where, like, I don't really want to bench, Evans, Godwin, AB if they're all healthy and not suspended for AB. So, I mean,
Tough.
yeah, I don't know. You can only play with 4 wide receivers logistically so often, like, no matter how good they are. Like, teams will just scheme to get you if you're playing with 4 wideouts all the time. So
I actually had Adams as my choice, and I switched over to Aaron Jones because I already took a cornerback.
yeah,
and I wasn't adding to the line. But once I added Kittle and I thought about it, I'm like, I don't really even need Devontae Adams if I have Kittle on the team, because I'm already got, and you already had Debo too, so it's like,
yeah. To me, Debo was the most fun. I wanted to have at least one that's just like, I know they don't need this dude, but come on, like, this would be awesome, especially with the way teams are defending him. Having a guy that can do those kind of things after the catch, like, what's that?
Just give her to Jalen Darden.
Oh my gosh,
I love that special teams too. I'm like, is there any stud special teamers that I can put on this? And I was like,
right,
not really.
Okay. I'm trying to also kind of update this as we go on this situation with AB, especially the legal ramifications here. If they actually did this, let's see if Schefter says here, if they did this like on a criminal, like where there could be criminal charges. Schefter says today's announcement on the suspension of 3 players, including AB and Mike Edwards, is believed to be the first joint NFL-NFLPA disciplinary statement reflecting the seriousness of the matter and how both sides view the importance of COVID protocols. Yeah, definitely. Check those cards real quick first time around.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they should, but I don't know if I would say that they did. But
that's why they work together so quickly, because we screwed up here.
Yeah. This guy wants money and he's gonna expose everybody until he gets his 10K. Now AB is gonna miss out on like way more than 10K.
Yeah.
I mean, I told everybody all along AB is gonna be AB. Like this, he's like, I've changed all this stuff now. Like,
they kind of
survive with them
between Aaron Rodgers too.
Yeah. I think the difference is pretty clear there, in my opinion.
He was taking a test every single day as well, where these guys were taking once a week. Well,
he was regarded as, like I said, in the facility and by the league, Rodgers has been regarded as unvaccinated. Like, no matter what the media thought,
for it.
Right. No matter what the media thought, they're not going to fine him for telling the media I'm immunized, whatever he said.
Got the final number. He didn't want to pay his chef $10,000. You'll end up owing him $547,000.
Yeah, he'll miss out on that. Yeah. So pay your debts. I don't know. Anyway, situation with AB. Somebody asked if the Bucs will release him. Yeah, I mean, I think it's on the table, Zach Jarvis. I do, because I don't know what's going to happen, but it's got to be on the table. Like, I don't know. I mean, you've got a dude that was probably dishonest with you. But also beyond that, there could be criminal situation here. I don't know. I don't know that the details of that part. People are kind of speculating on that right now and wondering if it gets to that.
Ari is reporting that he used a fake vaccine card. And
is he reporting that, or is he just kind of saying is he drawing inferences from?
Everyone thought he was vaccinated.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I believe that the team thought he was vaccinated, because they would have been hit if they didn't. And the NFL must feel convinced.
The question here is, was he vaccinated? Is he vaccinated, or was he not vaccinated and still not vaccinated? Same thing with Mike.
Can you imagine being a lawyer that represents him and coming out after all this happened saying he's vaccinated when he wasn't, when he still isn't vaccinated? That would just be absurd.
Be like AB and get vaccinated was his exact words. Be like AB, get vaccinated.
Right. Which I think he was vaccinated. That's why it was like kind of a deceptive statement. Like he probably was when that statement was released, but probably at one point sought this fake vaccination card. Like, that's where I think we're at with it, where like he sought this at one point. Edwards sought it at one point. Other players around the league sought it at one point. Like, and then the NFL is cracking down on this one because it came to light, because this guy's like, oh, I owe money and I have evidence like that this happened. So I do think they got vaccinated, and probably, I don't know, we'll see about Edwards, but I do think, well, I guess Bucs said they were 100% vax, so we'll see whether that ended up being true this whole season with Edwards or not. But I do think AB's probably vaxxed now. It's just a matter of the fact that at one point, this was a path that he wanted to go down. To what end, that concluded. I don't know. Maybe we'll never know the full details of all that, how it got in front of the league or how much the league it had to do with the league. But yeah, we're going to have to figure out the legal side of it too now. So yeah, lots to go through there. No question about that.
Lawrence wants to know if we can run through the AFC.
sorry.
Do you want to run through the AFC teams real quick?
We got like 2 minutes. Run through the AFC teams and pick a player from them.
Yeah.
I didn't prepare anything for that. I really have to think.
Just pretend we didn't take anyone from the AFC, NFC. I guess everyone's healthy.
There's nobody else to fit. You can't fit any more players on this roster. Like,
well, if we didn't take any from the NFC,
I'll just take somebody. Let's just take one guy from an AFC playoff team. Let's take somebody from the Bills since they're coming up.
Bills.
Trey White's not healthy, but I guess if we're assuming everybody's healthy, I'd take him.
Yeah, I would take him.
I'm trying to think of anybody else.
I mean,
their safeties are amazing, but you have Winfield and Baker. I don't know who else I need.
Well, you wouldn't have NFC guys, just the AFC.
Oh, you're saying forget the fact that the NFC guys are on.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
Okay. Then I'm taking like Micah Hyde or somebody. Yeah.
Okay.
To play next to Winfield.
I'm going to run through a couple of these. Titans, I'm taking Derrick Henry. Again, the best running back on the league. Pats, I'm taking
I'm
J.C.
not taking
Jackson.
him because I feel like then they'd be tempted to run the ball more, and I'm not doing that. So
I'm taking J.C. Jackson from the Pats. I'm taking Tyreek Hill and his speed.
J.C. Jackson for sure, yeah.
I'm taking from the Ravens. Give me that's a tough one. Oh, give me Justin Tucker.
Give me Lamar. Tucker. 2 quarterback packages.
Just give me Justin Tucker, and then Micah.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Great point. Yeah, you can score from the 50. Yeah, absolutely.
Automatic. Yep. Give me Tucker, Tyreek Hill, J.C. Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Micah Hyde. Done.
That was quick. All right. I like it. Good stuff. All right, Bucs fans, I got to let you know about a place that you can follow and get a little bit more content out there if you're looking for it. Spotify Green Room. Spotify Green Room, you can talk music, sports, and culture live. You can do all of that at Spotify Green Room. You can join the conversation. You can take the mic. You can download it on the App Store, get it on Google Play, get involved in these conversations and go live with Spotify Green Room as well. It's great stuff. It's a great format. You can follow Pewter Report and get notified when we go live as well. Good stuff over there, as always. And then, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention our friends at Pin Chasers as well, because Pin Chasers, the Pewter Report Bowling League is going strong over at Pin Chasers. And bowling, food, and fun. You can bring your family out here. It's great stuff. Wednesday nights, if you're interested in joining the Pewter Report Bowling League, you can email matt@pewterreport.com. But also, what's great about Pin Chasers is that there's they got specials going on the nights. There's an all-you-can-eat pizza night, things like that. So you can take your family out, bowl at any of their multiple locations, have a great night, enjoy great food, get yourself some bowling in over with our friends at Pin Chasers. So make sure you check them out. Playing a great family night coming up as well. All right, JC, we'll be back on the Pewter Game Day show. We'll have the pregame show at noon on Sunday, and then the live in-game stream as the Bucs battle the Falcons on Sunday in Atlanta. We'll have the live in-game stream of that with Paul and myself breaking everything down as it goes. And then we'll have the post-game show in the evening as well, probably like 7:30 time frame. We'll start the post-game show so we get it in before that Sunday night game. We'll do that as well. So lots of Pewter Report content coming your way on Sunday. Excited for it as the Bucs play the Falcons again. If you're looking for the preview of that game, go to Wednesday's show. Check that out if you're in, and because Scott and I previewed this game, that upcoming game against the Falcons, pretty good. And if you're looking for more all 22 content, I just posted a video again of Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones, really, and the Bucs run scheme and 7 of the best plays and kind of what happened on those plays, and going through a lot of stuff on the recent YouTube content. So you can check that out as well. So it's good stuff. If you're in the chat right now and you're watching the show, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button before you leave. Give a thumbs up on the YouTube. Help us out with the SEO boosting it and getting it out to all the people out there. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you on Sunday again for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.